I would like to make my triumphant return to Dahm. That's true. Addressing the controversy that's come out this last week. Obviously, I've been missing from the streams in person for 2 weeks now. I was banished. I was off of Grub Butts. I had to do Dahm. That's true from a shitty hotel room on the phone. So I just like to come out and apologize to absolutely fucking nobody. Welcome back. I'm back on Dahm. That's true. That's right. And I'm running this shit. I'm the only one here this week. Owen might be joining us later. We'll see. But for now, you're stuck with me, baby. And that's right. Roll the fucking clip. I'm the host with the most. Roll that shit. Welcome everybody back to another episode of Dahm. That's true. That's right. Episode number 110. Of course, I'm your host with the most, Truman the Steam Machine Steen. I am not joined by the beast with the least, Owen Domination 7 Dahm. If you've seen him, let me know. Just kidding. He was watching his brother play soccer, like some kind of lame-o. Brother didn't even score a goal. Kind of cringe fest. But as they say, the show must go on. And so I will adjust the camera mid-show and let you guys get into it. It's just me. Sorry. It's hard to not have anybody to bounce off of to start off the show here. But I do appreciate being back. I appreciate everybody who's hung with us these last couple weeks. Obviously, it's a little harder to get everything done. It's a little, to be honest, I do a lot of the stuff sometimes behind the scenes, not to undermine what everybody else does. Everybody else contributes a lot. They help a lot. But I do a lot of the uploads. I do a lot of the clipping. So if you've seen some things that look a little weird, it's been uploaded at odd times. It's just, it is what it is, man. It is hard to do. It's not easy to run a podcast, per se. And it's not. So if you've seen a couple things be off, it's, they're not into the same rhythm as I am. We had a couple different people doing it than are normally doing it. So, we appreciate you sticking through what you were doing. We appreciate you sticking through it. So that being said, you're getting another weird Dahm. That's true, because it's just me this week. To start off with, Owen the beast with the least, Owen Domination 7 Dahm will be joining us slightly later in the show. But to get us started off, I write the scripts. I can probably take care of you guys for a bit. Welcome into Dahm. That's true. Oops, all true. We're going to talk the Chiefs win over the Raiders last night on Monday Night Football. We're going to look ahead to the Bills game next week, the biggest game in football, in the NFL next week. We're going to talk coaches getting fired. Matt Rule got fired this week. Who's next? We're going to talk AFC South Team of the Week. We're going to talk gambling. We're gonna have a real talk about whether or not gambling is improving your watching experience. And we're also going to do top 5 Halloween costumes and, of course, Owen's 5-team parlay of the week. That being said, let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about the Chiefs game real quick. I didn't have it as a slide, but I will kind of recap it here. Obviously, the Chiefs beat the Raiders last night 30-29 at Monday Night Football at home, Arrowhead. They were down 17-0, and everybody's talking about the roughing the passer. I'm not here to talk about roughing the passer. It's Tuesday. Everybody fucking talked your head off with it earlier on Tuesday, all day Monday. By the time this comes up on Spotify or iTunes, you're not going to want to hear somebody talk about the roughing the passer. It was egregious. It was bad. It's not the spirit of the rule. Chris Jones had the ball. Essentially, Derek Carr had essentially tackled him technically, and he got a roughing the passer for that, which is ridiculous. The referee defended it. I understand what he was going for, but I don't know. It's just not worth talking about. What I find funny is that everybody takes that as the pivotal moment of the game, and it is somewhat. Everybody was a little more mad. The Chiefs crowd really came alive. I was talking to a coworker who went. He said it was funny to be a part of booing just for 20 straight minutes. The Chiefs fans essentially just booed. Besides when we had the ball, they essentially just booed until the Chiefs were back ahead, which is very funny. It was also probably some of the maddest I've been as a Chiefs fan. If I would put myself in Andy Reid's shoes, the things I would have said would not have been good. I probably would have got fined and suspended. And shout out for Andy for keeping a cooler head. He did get a little feistier than he usually does, which was kind of cool to see. It's like seeing your dad get really mad at somebody else and really yell at him. You're like, holy shit, I forget this guy can be like this. But that wasn't the it's not going to be the highlight of this episode. Listen, we're here to move on. So what I actually think the pivotal moment of that game was that nobody talks about is somebody said classic Daddy Reed. Yes, Hannah learns to read. Yes, of course. By the way, before we move on, Andy Reid does look a lot like my father, to be honest. If you guys, go to YouTube, look up Winners and Whiners. He's got a shaved mustache right now, so it's not as much. But when he had just the stash, he looked a lot like Andy Reid. They both look like each other, and maybe that's why I feel so much of a parental vibe from Andy Reid, but I feel like everybody kind of feels like a parental vibe from Andy Reid. But maybe it's just because he looks like my father personally. But I find it funny that the pivotal moment, as we look back on it now, will always be remembered as the Chris Jones pass interference. Because, and I have a hot take on this, I believe the pivotal moment was actually the Jerick McKinnon run for the first down. I posted about it on Twitter. I said, it was 1st and 10, I believe there's a holding call or a false start or a legal formation, and there was like an incomplete pass. It was 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 20, and they had Jerick McKinnon. Like Jerick McKinnon, you're like, okay, you got to go get some. So he busts through that line, gets like 5, and then he's got like 10. And you're like, nice, dude, that's a good. Now we're fucking. And then he gets closer, and you're like, oh shit. And then it looks like he stopped about 4 yards short, and then he just keeps on fucking churning his legs, and then he gets past the line of scrimmage. You're like, hell yeah. And then he busts out of that at about 3 to 4 yards past the line of scrimmage and ends up going for, which essentially I think was like a 30 to 40 yard run that was, about 10 to 15 yards past the first down sticks on a 2nd and 20, I think it was. And I believe that's the pivotal moment of this game. That's the time that the offense woke up and they started to believe in themselves because they went down there. The score was still 17-0 at that point. Jerick McKinnon broke that off, and then they scored. And all of a sudden, it was 17-7. Then, of course, you did have the Chris Jones roughing the passer on the next drive. Las Vegas ends up putting up a field goal. They go up 20-7. Chiefs go down, kick a field goal, 20-10 at halftime. But, of course, everybody's talking about the Chris Jones roughing the passer, but legitimately, I believe everything hinged on that Jerick McKinnon run. That is what woke up the crowd. That's what woke up the offense. The offense went out there. They scored. The defense should have stopped them. Should have stopped the Raiders after that. And the Chiefs should have scored again. It should have been 17-14. And I said it. I said you get a stop. You score. I put it on my Twitter. People were laughing at me. And then that strip sack, I thought was a strip sack happened. I was like, and then they took it away, which was insane. But all of that was, again, nothing to talk about. The Chiefs end up holding on. They get a little lucky there at the end. It's kind of nice to see that after the Colts game where, Chris Jones has had some heartbreaking fouls. I don't think either of them were deserved. I don't think that passer interference or that roughing the passer is deserved, and I don't think that personal foul of whatever he could have possibly said to Matt Ryan was, with words not in his face, was deserved. I think both of those were insane penalties that I wonder what makes them call that on Chris Jones. I wonder if it's one of those things where like LeBron gets a lot of fouls called or doesn't get a lot of fouls called because he's just so strong and big and good, and they just don't feel bad for him. Maybe it's that Chris Jones is so menacing in general just because of how big and good at football he is that they kind of are quick to pull the trigger on a personal foul for him. I don't know. But I think that's something that's interesting to maybe look at after we've seen two kind of ridiculous fouls on Chris Jones. But either way, the Chiefs get it done. They beat the Raiders 30-29 after Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow collide on 4th and 1. God, you had 3rd and 1. You have a minute left. They throw it out to Davante Adams. It looks like he's caught it. They go to review it. He's bobbling it. He doesn't get 2 feet down. Okay, they go to 4th down. You've also been fucking running it all over the place with Josh Jacobs in the 4th quarter, and they don't hand it off to him. And they go to throw to a pass that I say might have worked if Hunter Renfrow and Davante Adams didn't run into each other. Allegedly, it sounds like they stuffed either Adams or Renfrow at the line, and that threw off the timing enough for them to slam into each other. I don't know. I guess you're turned around looking at the quarterback. You're not expecting it or whatever, but they slammed into each other. Derek Carr had already thrown the ball. It falls incomplete. I wonder, obviously Davante Adams had already burned him 2 or 3 times. Adams is who got jammed to the line. Thanks, King Swampert. But obviously, if they run into each other, you've got to not feel great about what could happen as a Chiefs fans. Obviously, they'd already cooked Rashad Fenton and Jalen Watson. I think the Jalen Watson DPI was a little more ridiculous, but and he just burnt the 2 safeties over the top the play before the drive before to score a touchdown, and then they missed the 2-point conversion to be down 30-29. So, who knows what happens? But ifs and buts, candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. The NFL is a game of inches, and it shows up today. It shows up last night. The Chiefs take home the victory 30-29. That being said, I do want to get into one of the Chiefs topics that I find very interesting. Obviously, the Chiefs have dominated the AFC West. They have absolutely thrived on it. Mahomes, I believe, is now 23-3. He was 22-3 going into that game in his first 25 division games. It's the best since the merger, essentially, that any quarterbacks had in their first 25 games against divisional opponents. Not even Tom Brady in the terrible AFC East has had that kind of dominance to start his tenure there. So it's kind of unprecedented. So my question here is, the Chiefs have now beaten the Chargers, so they've got the tiebreaker there. They've gotten the tiebreaker over the Raiders, although the Raiders are 1-4. The Chiefs, of course, are 4-1. The Chargers are 3-2, and the Broncos are 2-3. So my question to you guys are, with the Chiefs owning the tiebreaker on the Chargers and already 1 game up total in the West, obviously this works better if I were to have Owen here, but it's what's the percentage chances you give them to win the division? For those that are watching live, for our visual listeners, you guys are you get to see my not great talking there, my not great moments there, but yeah, the point still stands. Of what do I think the chances are the Chiefs win the division now? God, it's also the Chargers. Nice. Thank you, King Swamp, for pointing that out. So many typos, so many bad things going on there. But what percentage chances do I give the Chiefs to win the division now? I would put it at... What's funny is I believe at the beginning of the season it was like 35% Chiefs, 36% Chargers, like 20% Denver, and like 10% the Raiders. That almost works out. It's not quite, but whatever. I would say that's what it's probably. And right now, I'd probably give the Chiefs a 55%. At the beginning of the season, we were worried about the Broncos. We were a little bit. We is a strong word there. I was not worried about the Broncos. But as the news media and the KC media, we were a little worried about the Broncos. But I would say that the Chiefs probably at this point have a 60% chance to win the division. And I say that for a lot of reasons. One, they're a game up on everybody, and they have the tiebreaker over the Chargers. The Chargers are the most dangerous team remaining in the AFC West. And I would say, obviously the Chiefs had that tiebreaker last year. They lost it in a dumb game. They gave a game back against the Colts already this year in a dumb game. There's going to be probably another dumb loss again later in the season. Could be Oakland when we go to Oakland. Las Vegas. Could be at Denver. Could be one of those division games. But I put it at 60%. One, okay, let's talk about the obvious. The Raiders are 1-4. They do not look incredible. I think they're underachieving. Will they finish above 500? I think they still have an opportunity. I would not sell them yet, but 1-4. I mean, they're not. So at max, they're going to win 13 games, and I promise you, they ain't going to win 12 straight. So I would put their chances pretty low. I think they're going to have to win 12-11. Oh, I think they're going to have to win 12 to win the division because that would include a win over the Chiefs also. And they're not going to get that done. Luckily, they do have a bye week this week. That'll help them kind of regroup here. But also, Denver is bad. Denver is one of the worst teams in the NFL. I think that's insane. I think they're a bottom in a lot of power rankings. You'll see them in the bottom 10, if not the bottom 5, and I think that's fair. Russell Wilson is cooked. He's done. I mean, and they just signed him for a 5-year extension for $250 million. Kind of insane. Uh, it so, and their defense looks pretty good, but just not. You can't count on them that much. And Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton are who we thought they were. They were not good enough wide receivers to carry Russ, and maybe Russ was carried by Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf a little bit, but also maybe Russ has just lost a step with the finger and everything. So King Swappert also says it seems like the Raiders are wholly relying on Tay being, Devontae Adams being Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs pounding, and it almost worked last night. I mean, that strategy almost did work. He also said, let Russ cook, man started grease fire and pouring some water on it. Absolutely. And he refuses to stop saying Broncos country, let's ride, which is insane. Picaro, a known Denver fan, saying that he would could use some Cooper Rush at this point. Yeah, absolutely. But God, man, it's so insane that Russell Wilson refuses to stop saying let's ride. It's a bit of a meme, but come on, man. Yeah, Dak Prescott sweating. Yeah, actually, I believe I actually forgot to add another NFL segment. I believe we'll add the Dak Cooper Rush conversation. This actually is kind of funny. I had when I was on the sports radio in K-State, I actually had the conversation. It shows I don't want to date myself too much, but my sophomore year when I was doing sports radio there, I discussed whether or not Dak Prescott should be replacing Tony Romo. And I said they should stick with Tony Romo. And here we are so many years past it. I'm still not sure I was wrong. I mean, obviously Dakota Prescott has been leading the Cowboys for so long. He's gone to the playoffs. He's had some success there. But, did he do better than Tony Romo ever did with them? Did he take them to a Super Bowl? No. Did he win an NFC Championship game? No. I mean, does he gone to an NFC Championship game? I don't think so. I mean, if he has, he's certainly lost it wholeheartedly, So I think that'll be an interesting topic to talk about here later on. But so we'll throw that one. We'll throw that one in as well. But that'll be talked about in our NFL segment. I think that is too interesting not to cover. We try not to talk about the Cowboys as much as possible, but here we are. We'll talk about them. So I think that is, but yeah, as far as the division goes, I would give the Chiefs a 65% chance at this point that the division's over. Cooper Rush beats the Eagles. You surely leave him in, but if he loses, do you put Dak back in? I think Dak's coming back in whether you like it or not, no matter, probably regardless of what he does against the Eagles. Well, and I mean, I doubt the Cowboys' defense is really good. That's the thing, is Cooper Rush isn't incredible, but he's thrown no interceptions. And if the Cowboys don't beat themselves, they have a defense that's good enough to win a lot of games. And Cooper Rush is probably not better than Dak, but what he is more conservative and smart with the ball. And I think that goes a long way. Owen is here. I see it. I see you here. Owen probably needs to put on his camera as well. Owen has also resubscribed. All right, Owen.
Ta-da!
You can talk while I write on my chest.
Woo! Yeah, so sorry guys. I was at my little brother's, I don't know if Truman's talked about it. I was at my little brother's senior night for soccer. He's not a senior, but to this day I feel guilty about not being able to attend any of my my oldest younger brother Hayden's high school games. So I tried to attend as many of McLean's sporting events as I can. And it was also against the bitter rivals, Blue Valley West, who we stomped tonight, Truman. It was a beat down. 3-1, and their goal only came in the last literally 8 seconds of the game off of a corner. Really lame to give the shutout away like that, but no big deal. But happy to be here.
Got to play the whistle, as they say. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it, Owen.
Absolutely,
Gotta play the whistle.
Absolutely.
And what does your team? What does your brother do Fucking let up a goal.
He's not a goalie. He's not a goalie like me.
I know, but he certainly didn't play any defense. Owen. He certainly wasn't a defender either. I know he's actually I think he's probably an attacker, right? If he had a header.
No, he plays center defensive mid at high school.
Yeah, he sure sounds like he plays mid for sure.
Okay.
Damn, I'm coming for you. Welcome back, Owen. We have already discussed the Chiefs' chances. Owen, real quick, percentage chance you give the Chiefs to win the division?
I heard you're 65. I agree with you.
Okay.
It's still possible that they lose it, but I mean, the Chiefs have shown us over the past several years that when the Chiefs control their own destiny, good things happen.
Right. That percentage number is somewhat a celebration of the Chiefs, but it is also somewhat an indictment of the other teams not being hurt, Russ being bad, the Raiders not having a good coach at their helm, and just underperforming in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, Z said, "Oh my God, is that niche micro celebrity Owen Domination 7 Dahm?"
It is. It is.
Hey, he's micro celebrity in more ways than one, folks.
Okay. Glad to be back.
Coming for you. Yeah. Absolutely. What do you got there, Owen? What are you eating?
Got some Sammy going on.
Oh, from where?
Oh yeah, from McDonald's. I got a Big Mac.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would not call that a Sammy. I'd call that a burgie personally, but
true.
It's fine. Owen,
I don't know.
Quick,
is it really a burger?
Owen, rank the Big Mac. Yeah, you missed Grub Buds. We're gonna make you do it.
Oh, the Big Mac. It's solid. I give it 80.
80. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Notice you said, "What a coincidence! I am also coming for Owen." That's very funny.
Well, shit.
A little odd, but
better lock my door.
Fair enough. All right. Well, he said coming with a U, so don't worry.
Still locking that door.
Still lock that door, yeah, I guess. But all right, Owen. Luckily, you to come back in to talk about Owen. How long and what does Travis Kelce have to do for him to be the GOAT?
So the only thing now that he has to worry about now that he's past Gronk in yards is he's got to score more touchdowns because Tony G is going to be the ultimate goal to pass.
Right.
But I think if he keeps putting up numbers like he is, he'll pass Tony G. But the most vital thing is the touchdowns.
Right. That's fair.
Because if he doesn't pass Gronk in touchdowns, he's going to be like, well, Gronk has more touchdowns. And then Tony G's numbers are obviously insane, but I feel like he'll get to those yards eventually. But he has to stay healthy, and he has to continue to catch touchdowns.
Right.
But I think he's got a good shot at it.
I think it's a Hall of Famer. I think.
Oh, he's a Hall of Famer right now already. Absolutely.
I think he's had 6 straight seasons of 1,000 yards. I think he's already on pace for his 7th. He's at 347 through 5 games. Obviously, you extrapolate that over 17. He's going to hit. Obviously he'd hit 1,000 with 2 more games left at this rate. And also, he had a weird night last night where he only had 40 yards on all that stuff.
Yeah,
that was going on there.
It was like I think it was like 25 yards. I think it was even crazier.
Right. So don't get us started on that. But so Travis Kelce right now is at 93.53. Oh, and Tony Gonzalez,
like 20K or something crazy.
So he's 9,300 yards. Tony Gonzalez has 15,000 yards. So Travis Kelce would have to do this for 6 more years at this rate. And he'll drop off a bit. So I think I don't know if he's going to pass Tony Gonzalez. I think Tony Gonzalez was, the thing also about Tony Gonzalez, he was just he was a big dude who was very athletic and had good injury luck, stayed healthy, until kind of the tail end there. So
yeah,
I
and
think
played
just
for like 18 years.
Right. I think just because he was so big, that helped him stay healthy and play as long as he did. I'm not sure Travis Kelce is going to be able to play until Travis Kelce's 33 right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Gonzalez was 21 in his first season, and he was done at 37. Travis Kelce this year is, I got it right here, he's 33, man. That is...
Yeah.
So...
Well, and,
by Tony, and Tony G, we talk about the longevity of Tony G, and he only played for 4 more years compared to what Kelce's got. I think Kelce's got more than 4 left. I think Kelce looks good. He looks healthy. I mean, obviously, there's a chance that especially as a tight end who's getting older, taking a lot of hits, he could always drop off a cliff at any moment. Very, very much a knock on wood situation there, but he technically could. But I imagine you see Travis Kelce play until he's maybe 38, 39. The question
I think
will be,
Travis Kelce's going to quit when he feels like it.
yeah, the question will be how many Super Bowls does he get? That'll help. He's obviously got more Super Bowls than Tony G. If he hits 15,000 yards, if he hits the same number of yards that Tony G has and has, 2 or 3 Super Bowls to match Gronk's 2 or 3 Super Bowls, I don't think you can. I think that would. I think what you need is probably 2 more Super Bowl wins and 5,000 more yards. I think he's got to be. I think he's got to pass Tony G in yards. I don't think touchdowns matter. I don't think touchdowns matter.
I think they're the most important.
I think you're wrong.
I think too many people care about being an end zone target for some reason.
Yeah. Also, Travis Kelce, by the way, 7 touchdowns so far through 5 games. Obviously, extrapolated out to, puts you at 21 through 15 games. Puts you at you get 17. So let's call it another 4 or another 2 or 3. Let's call it. He's on pace for 24 touchdowns. That would shatter Gronk's 17 touchdown season, which is the only thing that people can hold over him anymore. So I don't think Travis Kelce, and I think as Travis Kelce gets older, he's probably going to become honestly more of a red zone target, more of a red zone threat, because his game will become somewhat less dynamic and he'll just be kind of stuck there. I mean, Gronk in his 2 years that he was in Tampa Bay caught 13 touchdowns, which is almost 1/5 of how many he caught in Tampa or in New England.
And he really didn't do much else in Tampa besides catch touchdowns. He didn't really catch any, of those plays that it was the Gronk special. The 3rd and 7 Gronk for 8. He didn't really do much of that at Tampa. He really was just that end zone target.
13% of his catches were touchdowns.
Yeah.
And I imagine you'd see something similar. So, for the answer, what does Travis Kelce need to do? I think Travis Kelce needs to remain a red zone option. I think he will into the twilight of his career and somewhat. I don't think we're even close to the twilight of his career. I think he's probably got a year or 2 more. I think this year and next year is almost again, a heavy knock on wood here. We are a sports podcast. We have to have some hot takes here to keep the clicks up. But I think he's somewhat of he'll have a prime for almost guaranteed this year and next year. The question will be, what does his post-prime look like? Does he have like Greg Olson's post-prime where he just falls apart, he's hurt all the time? Or does he have Tony G's post-prime where he has 3 or 4 more seasons where he has 700 yards and he gets to Tony G's numbers and he retires with 15,000 yards, let's call it 80 touchdowns, which, is less than Gronk's, and 3 Super Bowl rings. But he's also the only tight end to hopefully, he's on pace for his 7th consecutive 1,000-yard season. I mean, and he's the only one to ever do
insane.
That. And for a tight end, the wide receivers are a little different. We've talked about Mike Evans in the past, and other wide receivers. We haven't even talked about. But there's never been a tight end who's had 4,000-yard seasons total. I believe we were looking at these numbers when we were starting the podcast way back when. There hasn't been anybody who's had. I think 4 is the most that anybody's had 1,000-yard seasons before Travis Kelce.
Yeah,
and Travis Kelce has had
Gronk.
6,000-yard seasons in a row, which is insane. I think it was actually Shannon
and he's about to have
Sharp.
another one this year. He's gonna have another one this year.
Yeah, which could be 7.
Noted scrub Shannon Sharp, as everyone knows, who was obviously a terrible player.
Right, of course, we all know that. We all agreed there. No.
Yeah, no one thinks that Shannon Sharp was any good. So
not here, not on Dahm. That's true for sure. Yeah, all that being said, I don't think we're worried about Travis Kelce. I think by the time it's all said and done, I think there will be a heavy argument that Travis Kelce is the GOAT, but I think it'll be interesting to see him get there. Which brings us on to our topic. As always, we like to discuss the upcoming game. Owen, this week it is the Kansas City Chiefs against the Buffalo Bills. It is at 3:15 p.m. Central Time. It'll be hosted in Kansas City. Owen, what are some of your keys to the game?
It's gonna be a game of defense. If
Interesting.
the
Okay.
Chiefs defense it can really match up against the Bills air raid, and I'm worried that they cannot. I yeah, the Chiefs corners did not look great. They had a rough showing. Uh, I think a little bit of it was Spagnuolo kind of letting him down. Putting either a rookie or a third year guy who's first year starter kind of in Rashad Fenton or Justin Watson against Devontae Adams is not a great recipe for success in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, but Spagnuolo trusts his guys. I think that the Chiefs D line is improved enough to the point that we can go at least dime coverage. There was not too much safety help for the lads this week. I'd like to see more of that, but I think it's a game of our secondary versus their passing game.
I think maybe the biggest benefit that you're going to see here is that the Chiefs, that the Bills don't have a good run game. That helps a lot. That you had to
Yes.
respect the Raiders' run game in a way that you do not have to respect Buffalo's run game. Actually, the number one person that you have to respect in Buffalo's run game is Josh Allen. And I think that's going to be actually my key to the game. I've got a couple. Well, one key: if Trent McDuffie is back, all bets are off about what could happen on the secondary. Because I think Trent McDuffie looked great in the preseason. You didn't hear anything from him, which is a great sign. You didn't see him getting burnt. I heard that when the guys that were looking at the All-22 said he looked awesome. Said he looked awesome in Week 1 before he hurt himself. He's eligible to return this week. Obviously, it's a big if. He went on the IR 4 weeks ago, and this is his first game eligible to be back off of it. But if he can, holy shit, what a boost to this secondary.
Yep.
But I believe it's a big help that you don't have to worry about Buffalo's running game. But that is actually brings me to my key to the game. I actually believe the key is going to be stopping Josh Allen on the ground. If Josh Allen scrambles for less than 3 first downs, the Chiefs will win this game.
You think I don't know, man. I don't know if it's that simple.
I think it is that simple.
I
think it's
I
absolutely.
think that the Chiefs secondary is bad. I mean, they're kind of I don't know, man. I don't know if they're all right or if they're bad. I don't think they're that great. I'm worried.
I'm here to. What is this? What is this weird role reversal we're having? I thought I was going to be the one here doomsdaying about the Chiefs this week, but I feel great about them.
It's the Bills, man. They're like the best team in football besides us.
They're
it's
the best.
scary.
They're the best team in football, and it's gonna be decided this week. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Somehow they got to become the men without even ever beating the man. But
wait, hold on. I mean,
I
thought the only thing that matters is winning. Aren't the Eagles the best team in football right now?
No, shut up. We have crowned the Bills the best team in the NFL, despite the fact that they have not beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. They beat the Chiefs in the regular season last year, and then they lost in the playoffs. And so somehow we have to crown Buffalo the man, even though they did not beat the man when it mattered, when it came down to it. So I'm interested to see this week. This week is almost similar to your college football power rankings or your college football rankings in the AP and the coaches poll. This is 1 versus 2. Whoever wins this game is going to be number 1 on all NFL power rankings next week. Promise.
Yeah.
Whoever loses this game probably going to be 4th or 5th. I guess depending on how it looks.
I think this is an Alabama versus Georgia situation, Truman.
Right, where the team drops down to 3rd or 4th if they lose. They don't drop far.
Or it doesn't even really drop.
Right. Yeah, if it's close, who knows? But if Trent McDuffie's back, that's a huge plus. And I would say my positive, 1, keeping Josh Allen from rushing for first downs. If he rushes for less than 3 first downs, I believe that is a key. And that magic number 3, and we've talked about it before. 3 sacks for the Chiefs. That's the magic number. If they hit that, they will win this game.
I'm okay with that.
If they keep him from rushing for less than 3 first downs and they sack him 3 times, that means the Bills are going to be punting 3 or 4 times in this game. And that's enough. If you make the Bills punt 3 or 4 times as the Chiefs, I believe the Chiefs offense can have enough success as long as Trey Smith is back. Getting Trey Smith back will be huge. That offensive line did look a little sketchy
in the first half. In the first half.
Yes.
In the second half, they were solid.
And I will say Max Crosby is a fucking dog He was
Oh,
a
he's a
dog
monster.
out
He's
there.
an animal.
But
He was going crazy.
and he was shit talking Mahomes all night, which is so dumb. Stop doing that. Stop shit talking Mahomes. But
And not that you should like not shit talk on the football field. It's that Mahomes is just simply the worst guy to do that to because he'll
notoriously petty and competitive. Don't shit talk Mahomes. Yeah.
Yeah, that just doesn't work out for people, and
No.
then you end up seeing a close up of Mahomes' face, talking shit to you and counting on his fingers and stuff. So,
Yep.
I mean, you should talk all you want. We're not trying to say don't talk shit talk Mahomes. He's good. We're just trying to say that
we're saying for your
we're
own
trying
good,
to,
my brother in
yes,
Christ. We're trying to
we're
help
trying to
you.
give people advice here.
Yeah.
It's
Don't
not a
shit
good
talk
strategy.
Mahomes. Yeah. But all right. So
People you should
my
shit
key,
talk. Top of list, Derek Carr.
my key, get Trent McDuffie back. If Trent McDuffie's back, all bets are off. But if Trent McDuffie is still out, my two other keys, Josh Allen, less than 3 rushing first downs, and 3 sacks. If you sack him 3 times and you keep him from less than running for 3 first downs, I think this game is wide open. I think the Chiefs can control this. I am not scared about the run game at all, even though the Chiefs' run defense has improved so much. But yeah.
I just can't believe we're at a point where Buffalo doesn't run the ball anymore because that was one of their strengths last year, running with just random ass guys. Also, Truman, do you think that the Bills miss Cole Beasley?
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
No. I think they like what they have in Isaiah McKenzie and Gabe Davis.
Okay.
There is something to be said for a first down slot receiver guy that can move the chains, but Cole Beasley just didn't have much left in the tank, obviously, as he did retire last week.
That's true.
There just wasn't a ton left in the tank for him, I will say.
Yeah, he made a bad play and was like, yeah, well, I'm done.
Yeah, it's very funny. All right, Owen, which brings me to the wrap up of this. Owen, give me some score predictions.
Listen, I like to be a realist. I'm a big Chiefs positivity guy, but the Bills seem to have our number.
In what way?
And I think
in what way do they seem to have our number? Oh, and they have won one game out of the last 4, and it was
4 really.
Yes, last year in the regular season, they won in Arrowhead. Then they lost in the playoffs. The year before that, they lost in the regular season, lost in the playoffs.
Well, let's put it this way. I think they're due one. I think they're due for another win. I'm gonna go close. Well, I don't know, man. I think this game, because listen, if this game is if what happens to us in the first half happens to us against the Bills, it's a blowout. The Bills are not giving up a 17-point lead against the Chiefs. They're just not. Their defense is too good.
I would agree.
So, if this is gonna go one of 2 ways, I think it's either a Bills blow us out or a Chiefs close win. Because I just don't think this Bills team is built to a point that they can really get blown out.
Although not to be understated is that Buffalo also has a lot of rookie corners on the outside there. They don't. I mean, it's Kaiir Elam and then a 7th round guy. They're definitely hurting until Tre'Davious White is back. Once he's back, it's a whole different defense. But right now, they're also a little banged up in the secondary. They're not super healthy, and
I don't know, man. I can't pick this game. It's going to be a good game. I honestly can't give a prediction. Chiefs 28, Bills 24.
Oh, come on! You're going to be a realist. What happens? Come on, no, don't change your mind. No, you definitely said all those words like you were going to pick the Bills to win.
Well, I don't know.
King
My
my
heart kind of tells me Bills 35, Chiefs 14. Honestly.
What?
Yeah.
The Bills by 21.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Also, King Swampert says they have your number. He says you're probably the guy that calls bingo falsely way too often. That's fair. Yeah,
okay.
Big roast.
I don't know, man.
Is insane,
I have a bad feeling about this game. I have a bad feeling.
I don't. I think the one that they were owed was last year. I think it was where everything went wrong. Mahomes looked bad. The weather was awful. They pulled it out. They still only won by – the Chiefs still had a chance. Was it Mahomes threw a I think a pick six and also a red zone interception. I mean, I think that's
And there was
everything
that
going
play,
your
that
way.
third down that we thought we could get that momentum, and then we had a holding penalty. And
Yeah. And King Swampert does make a good point. Said I'd rather they blow us out early and then us win in the playoffs. Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
I trade regular
absolutely.
season wins for that. I trade losing by 35. We lost to the Titans, beat them in the AFC Championship game. We lost to the Bills last year. We beat them in the divisional playoff game. Listen, but I just don't. I'm not seeing it like you're seeing it. This Buffalo team did lose to the Dolphins.
Yeah, but
This
that
Buffalo team isn't unbeatable. I mean, they were
yeah, but
hot. They were cramping up. It was a little bit of an elements kind of game that we talked about, like with the Chiefs. But
yeah.
I don't think you can blame it that much. They were just a little tired, but they were all a little tired. I think
Yeah.
I think if also I'll add another key here. I'll say if Mahomes doesn't throw for 2 interceptions. If he continues to minimalize mistakes, he has the best touchdown to interception ratio in the NFL right now. He's got 15 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Anybody who's got 1 interception, the best one is Tom Brady, and he's got 7 touchdowns. That's a lower touchdown interception ratio. Josh Allen's thrown 14 touchdowns, but he's thrown 4 interceptions. All that to be said, I'm just not seeing it like you do. I don't see the Bills knocking out the Chiefs, especially at home. I mean, this Chiefs team is resilient. I guess the Raiders game makes you doubt a little bit. It makes you a little bit worried, but I'm not scared.
Listen, man, if Derek Carr can gash us like that in the air, what can Josh Allen do?
I think it was a little fluky. I think they also called defensive PI early. I think it scared our guys. I think if Trent McDuffie's back,
Well,
I think that doesn't happen.
Also, I think Josh Allen isn't going to underthrow those balls, so maybe those PIs just don't happen against the Bills. Both of those PIs happened because Derek Carr threw a shit underthrown ball.
Yes, but I also think that Steve Spagnuolo respects Josh Allen as a passer way more than he respects Derek Carr as a passer, and he doesn't have to respect the run.
The mascara marauder. Yeah.
I mean, so all that to be said, no, I do not believe that the Bills are going to win this game. The Bills are 2.5-point favorites. I can't fault you for picking the Bills. I can fault you for picking the Bills by 21. I think that's insane. I don't think anybody's coming to Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs by 2 scores under Mahomes. I think he's lost by more than 2 scores. I guess maybe the Bills did last year, right? I guess that was maybe, but it's certainly never been 3 scores. I can't remember the Bills Chiefs score 2021.
It was bad. It's like 35-13.
38-20.
Oh, well, that's not that bad. Closer than the score shows.
Yeah, it was closer than the score shows. I just don't see it. I see the Chiefs 31, Bills 24. I think this is actually I think the Chiefs go up by 2 scores. I think the Chiefs get the ball first. I think they score. And then I think Buffalo goes on a weird 3-and-out to start. Chiefs score again, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. And then I think they kind of just trade those points back and forth. And I think the Chiefs just kind of stay up on them the whole time. Very similar. Not quite as dominating as we saw against the Bucs, but I think it's like what we did with the Bucs, except instead of being up 2 to 3 scores the whole time, they're just up 1 score the whole time. And then there's probably something towards the end where Buffalo ties it with maybe 3.5 minutes left, and the Chiefs just go down there. They either kick a field goal or score a touchdown.
My brain is weird.
30 seconds left.
I totally forgot we even played the Bucs this year.
Yeah, and we fucking owned them.
Dude. Yeah, that's weird.
I'm
gonna have to. I don't remember shit about that game.
And for maybe I'm 40 minutes of the Raiders game, you owned the Raiders. Outside of the first quarter and the last.
Yeah, because they went up 17-0, and then we had 21 unanswered.
Yeah, you owned them. I mean, plain simple. Well, you didn't have 21 unanswered because you scored 7, and then they kicked a field goal, and then you had 17 unanswered. All that to be said, Bills 24, Chiefs 31. 2 high-powered offenses. I believe they've scored either the exact same number of points or the Chiefs have scored like one more point than them this year, which is actually
That
kind
makes
of
sense
fun.
because they both laid an egg. They both laid an egg this year.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, you've got Bills. Are you gonna stick? You gonna stick with it? Bills 35, Chiefs 14. Is that your
Yeah, I
official
have to.
pessimist?
You know, like we do on here on Dumb That's True, we have some serious integrity. So I'm going to stick with my initial prediction of Bills 35, Chiefs 14. I think it might be lopsided, man. I'm worried. I would love to be wrong. Listen,
Loved.
I would love to be wrong, but the Bills make me nervous, man. But like I said, that's just my prediction. That's my official score prediction. I think it's going to be close.
Fair
I
enough.
think it's going to be a wild game. It's going to be a nice game to watch, and we're going to learn a lot of things about both teams. But with both teams having injury issues, maybe it's just a regular old competitive game.
Fair enough. If you guys are watching this on just the game preview on YouTube here, of course, this is from our entire episode of Dahm That's True number 110. You can find it full version, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you guys get your podcast. You can catch the whole version. If you like that video, like, subscribe, catch it all on Open Disaster Productions there. We appreciate you guys stopping in here. Go Chiefs. But we'll move on here into the NFL. Owen, I want to talk about coaches. I want to talk coaches getting fired. We had our first firing of the season. Owen, can you name that coach?
Yeah, Matt Rule.
Matt Rule of the Panthers was fired. That's right. So all of a sudden he is gone. Matt Rule is fired this week. Owen, who will be fired
Sorry,
next?
1 sec.
And then who should be fired next?
There's I believe an ambulance pulling up outside.
Uh-oh.
Not my house, obviously, but
No, we can't hear it on mic. You're all right.
okay.
So
Next coach that should be fired.
Who will be fired and who should be fired next?
I think. Let me take a look here. I don't think Robert Saleh is in trouble. Just got there. I don't think that whoever the hell the head coach of the Falcons is in trouble. They've been competitive. Oh, I got one easy. The Broncos head coach Hackett. He's on the hot seat for sure.
No way they get rid of him in 1 year.
Oh wait, it's only his first year?
Yeah, it's his first year.
Oh.
I think Frank Wright of the Indianapolis Colts, I think he should absolutely be on the hot seat.
Oh.
I think Ron Rivera,
maybe.
Washington Commanders, could be on the hot seat.
Maybe. I mean, the Commanders have won 2 games, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, they're 1-4. Oh, Rivera's on the hot seat.
Yeah, the Commanders. Sorry, 1-4. Sorry, yeah, I agreed with you without listening to what you were saying.
Oh yeah, that ambulance sure is right outside. Hold on, let me look at that. I'm concerned now.
You worried it's? Well, hopefully it's all right.
Oh, that ain't an ambulance. That's a police car. Somebody's getting wee-wooed.
Oh no. Hopefully it's not you.
It's probably just someone speeding. People fucking floor it down this road by my house all the time.
Ooh, I got a good answer for you on who will be fired next. Owen, you ready?
Yeah.
Ooh, I think this is a slam dunk on who's next to be fired.
Oh yeah?
Fuck, why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden? Oh my god.
Campbell.
Nope. No. Hold on. No, Dan Campbell, although Dan Campbell is on the hot
Oh
seat.
wait, no, I got one. I think of Cliff
Kingsbury. God damn it. Yes, that was the name of him. God damn it. Cliff Kingsbury is who should be going next. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Cliff Kingsbury could be the next one.
Oh my. You good? Cliff Kingsbury, dude.
Yeah, whatever. Kingsbury puff cereal. Yeah, for sure. He should be gone next. He will be gone next. Should be gone next. I think, honestly, I think it would be wise for the Broncos to take a second look at Nathaniel Hackett real quick. I also wonder if there might be a second look at Brandon Staley over there in Los Angeles. I don't think there will be, but if he goes, gosh,
I was like Los Angeles. I was like, loses Sean McVay.
If he loses 8 or 9 games this year, that's a disappointment. And we could be talking about him slowly moving on to the hot seat there. I don't think he will be fired, but I think there's, I think you have limited time with Herbert. I think could be stunting his growth with a defensive-minded coach like Brandon Staley, who's just not getting it done for you guys.
I don't know. I'm seeing shades of Sean McVay with Brandon Staley.
Younger
thinking coach, still defensive minded, but
what makes Sean McVay
analytically,
but what makes Sean McVay so good is how of what an offensive guru he was and how he revitalized, the Rams with Jared Goff, man. And that's not what Brandon
shout out to
Staley's
Jared Goff, by the way. Apparently, defensive maniac Dan Campbell was all he needed to go nuts. He's having a great season.
Yeah. I always thought Jared Goff, very similar to like an Alex Smith, could be fine in the right situation.
All right.
Moving on. This is normally where we do our week 5 picks, but somebody didn't write down all their stuff on their sheet, so I'm not checking his shit real quick. So we'll do a catch up on our preseason picks.
Oh, you're talking about my week 5 parlay?
No. We're still in the NFL. Owen, I want to talk to you about this. Is actually a topic that's somewhat close to me. When I was at Kansas State as a sophomore doing radio for a Wildcat, was it
91.9 Wildcat FM?
Is it KSDB FM in
I
Manhattan?
Believe so, yeah.
91.9 Wildcat 91.9. I was on the Sports Radio Talk. My first year there was actually a quarterback controversy in Dallas. It was Dak Prescott versus Tony Romo. Tony Romo had started out, he got hurt early with a little back injury, I believe, and they had put Dak in, and Dak had came in there and played pretty well, won a couple games, and they never went back to Tony Romo. They never looked back at it.
I remember that.
Tony Romo goes on to retire or either that year or the next year. Kept on getting hurt, and it's been Dakota Prescott ever since. Owen, we're almost seeing something similar in that Dak Prescott has been hurt a little bit. He was hurt last year or 2 years ago. He didn't play well last year. He was hurt. He's been hurt early this season also. And you've seen a guy come in. He hasn't blown the doors off it. Dak did blow the doors off it just a little bit more than Cooper Rush when he's been in there. But Cooper Rush
wasn't Dak like an MVP candidate his first full year starting?
He wasn't an MVP candidate, but he probably won Rookie of the Year if I had to guess. But Cooper Rush has come in there. He's played mistake-free football. He has 0 interceptions to 4 touchdowns. He is a great compliment to a great Dallas Cowboys defense.
Yeah, that defense is great.
Is there an argument to be made that they should be staying with Cooper Rush instead of Dak Prescott?
No. No. There's a difference in between a backup not making mistakes and a backup winning you games. The Cooper Rush is not winning none of these games. Let's be honest about it. The Cowboys defense is fucking insane and has been dragging them to wins even with poor quarterback play. 25 points, 23 points, 20 points.
Listen, he hasn't been blowing the doors off it, but he hasn't lost in any games. He's undefeated as a starter.
Yeah, you know who else doesn't lose people too many games? Ryan Fitzpatrick. No one's clamoring over everybody for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick should have been the starter in Miami last year. I think switching back to Tua was a mistake, and they missed the playoffs by doing it.
Well, I think they were tanking on purpose, and that whole thing came out.
That's true too.
But no, I mean, no. The soon as Dak's healthy, they go right back to him, and then everyone will go like, "Whoa, why did they go back to Cooper Rush?" Then Cooper Rush will. Some quarterback will get hurt. He'll be a priority, backup sign. He'll get paid like Chase Daniel, and he'll have like a 3 interception game.
Listen, you're going back to Cooper. They're going back to Dak Prescott, and I bet they miss the playoffs. That's my bold prediction for you. You go back to Dak Prescott, you miss the playoffs.
Well, they play the Eagles next. That kind of determines my whole thought process on this.
Well, I think they're 4-1. They're a solid wild card contender right now, even without the Eagles. But
I didn't even know they were 4-1, but I guess they did beat the Bengals and the Giants.
Right, all with Cooper Rush. I just don't think this team is as complementary to the offense. Is not as complementary to the defense as it is when Dak Prescott.
I also think the O-line. I also think Cooper Rush has just not been hit as much as Dak was. Maybe sacks. Sacks are also a quarterback stat.
Sacks are also quarterback stat. Sacks can be blamed on the quarterback also. I'm just saying.
I don't know, man. I'm not ready to hop on the Cooper Rush train. All right. I don't think you should. I don't think I can be blamed for that.
You don't want to rush onto it.
Stop.
Thank you.
Stop it, Skip.
All right. Let's move on real quick. Owen,
it would be fun. Hey, I'm all about the fun. All right.
I know,
if Cooper Rush, if they want to do it and he makes the playoffs, great story. They're not making the Super Bowl, but
It could. NFC is fairly wide open. We'll see you next week. Cooper Rush wins
Yeah,
against the
yep.
Eagles. Now we're talking. All right. Owen, AFC South Team of the Week.
Mm.
I've got mine.
Yeah, go ahead and take yours. I gotta think about mine for a second. I was thinking about this in the car right here, but I couldn't quite put my finger on who I wanted to
This is
choose.
a slam dunk, Owen. My team of the week goes to the Houston Texans, getting their first win, getting it done against those pesky, pesky Jaguars. For a while there, I thought the
Jaguars.
Jaguars, were somewhat of a contender, and all of a sudden, they proved to me that they are pretenders once again. Uh, yeah,
Once again.
I like, I liked that performance there. Good for them to get it. I don't think there was ever really a doubt. I don't think anybody was thinking they were going to go winless, but it's good to see them get that dub in, get that dub down. AFC South Team of the Week, Houston Texans.
Um, yeah, I don't hate that. Um, but Truman, there's an AFC South team this week, Truman, that won without scoring a touchdown.
No, you
I give
cannot
it to the
give
Colts because
you
that is
cannot
just a
give it to a team
pathetic.
who played in that fucking game, dude. No, man.
Yes, I can because that's the spirit of the AFC South team of the week. We're talking about garbage performances that make you want to claw your eyes out. And thank God I didn't watch a single second of that game, but it was awful. So I'm gonna give it to the Colts.
Ugh.
I
Need a
remember that
shower.
was technically this week because it was a Thursday night game.
Need a shower after that fucking AFC South Team of the Week. All
They
right.
made they made Russell Wilson say Broncos country, let's ride in a sad voice.
Very funny. It's so funny that he refuses to stop saying it at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
He's just gonna power through it. Whatever, Mr. Unlimited, I guess. Um. Okay, Owen. That does bring us to our gambling section. Of course, Owen's 5-team parlay coming up here in a second. First, I want to talk about something. I want to do a little bit of a review here, Owen. Owen, sports gambling has been legal for over a month in the sport of Kansas, and honestly, I had this thought while I was sitting there watching the game with you on Sunday or on Monday night last night or last Sunday when I was watching with one roaring bull. I
Mm.
I want to ask, does it improve your game watching experience? Because I was talking to Tina about this. Tina brought her crocheting stuff to the game last night, and we were on the way home, and she said something along the lines of not to to kind of paraphrase, but it was like, I don't want to, I don't want you to think that I don't like care about going to the game, or that I am having too much, like, that I'm not focused. I do care about the game. It's not that my crocheting is saying that I don't care about the game. And I was like, I understand. And I told her, I was like, here's the thing: is that if you look at a football game, they've run the math before. A football game is truly 3 hours of real time from,
Yeah.
last night's game, 7:15 to 10:20, 10:30 last night. Uh, there's only, and the clock is running for a fair amount of it. There's actually
Yep.
only about like 10 to 20 minutes of actual football that is played in those 3 hours.
Yeah.
It might even be less. It might even be under 10 minutes of actual football being played. And
Yep.
what I told her is that, you're crocheting, but what we're doing is, we're also doing idle stuff while that's going on. We're watching the replays because we want to see a specific thing that we were wondering about, or we're on Twitter reading funny comments about the last play that happened, or we're sports gambling. And I think the sports gambling, has added to that. I think it has a similar effect in the way that fantasy football does for the average fan, in that it gives you something to root for. It makes you care about every single football game always. It makes you and in a way, it makes you care about every single play that's happening because you're
Well, not
wondering
if
if
you
they're
do
going to
it
score.
properly like I do it.
Yeah, I guess you only bet on the Chiefs or whatever.
I refuse to bet on games I'm not going to watch.
That's fair. Everybody's got a system. I got a system. I got the machine. We talk about this,
Yeah.
but I've got a way to do things. But I would argue that it does improve the game experience in that you are more engaged, you're more interested, you're thinking about so many different things. What's the total? What's the spread? Or we hit the money line.
Yeah.
I wonder what their
I
odds
think
are
fantasy
right now.
football does a similar thing as well.
It's absolutely a similar effect that fantasy football has. I don't know where are you at on this, Owen?
No, I'm with you there. I mean, it's true. Yeah, football is like 3-hour game around 30 actual minutes of actual plays going on.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, sports gambling probably amplifies it a bit. People have more skin in the game, want to pay more attention to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you there. No complaints here.
Yeah, I think it's just very I think it just is an improvement. Obviously gamble responsibly. We talked about it last week. There's, have a goal, have a system, have something that you're doing. Don't just win. I would
Also
encourage
have a
you greatly.
floor.
Yeah,
Definitely have a floor.
right.
If I get under this amount of money, I'm not betting to make it back.
Right. Don't, maybe subscribe to a patreon.com/open disaster, where they have a sports
Yeah,
betting show
yeah.
every week where you can kind of learn some information. I'm just kidding, of course.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
But I mean,
use
it
all
does
your
help. It does
available
help. You should
resources.
be informed on your sports betting. You should be looking up things. You should have reasons that you're betting these things, or don't. I guess you don't have to. I'm not your dad, but no matter what, gamble responsibly. But
We
I do
think you
think,
you'll win more money if you are betting
right,
with
and I
a
do,
thought behind it.
and I do think it adds to the game. I think it makes it a more pleasurable experience. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. As I was just thinking about that in the car ride home last night, when me and Tina were talking, I was just like, we're.
Also,
I mean,
but
I've
also
seen,
to be fair,
we've
to
got
be
Evan,
fair,
we've got Aaron. When we're sitting there at that table, us 4 or 5, in the 20 minutes of timeouts, we're thinking, oh, or in the 10 5-minute commercial breaks, we're thinking, okay, where's this parlay at? Wait, how many catches does
yeah,
Travis Kelce have? Wait, how many yards does Devontae Adams have? Okay, wait, I need 5 more yards from Kelce. I need Clyde to have another catch. I need a touchdown here. It's it adds so much to it. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
yeah. I mean, I also think that women in general could benefit from the thought process that if your boyfriend invites you to watch a sports game, you dead ass don't have to watch it nearly as close as he's watching it.
Right.
Just wants you to be in the general vicinity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right. Real quick before we get to Owen's vaunted 5-team parlay of the week, I have we'll do a quick update on Steam versus Machine. Again, we just shout out the open patreon.com/open disaster. This week it was kind of non-video form. I was on the road. It was a little harder to get to. So you guys obviously saw it. It was just a text post. But we did post the picks. I went 2-3. I had the Tampa Bay Atlanta under 48.5. That cashed. The Dallas Rams under 43.5. Sorry. That cashed.
Yep.
I also the Chicago Minnesota under 43.5. Minnesota was blowing them out, and then they rallied just enough to push it over and nothing more. See,
Over the total, but not win.
yeah.
Nice.
I had the
Love
Seahawks
that.
money. They did just enough to make it a game and lose 29-22. Fucking worthless. I had the Seahawks money line. They made it a game also, but just could not get it done. They were up like 14-0 on the Saints and just could not keep Taysom Hill out of the
Yeah, I
end zone.
mean, yeah, you can't really count out the best offense in the league. The obviously that we all knew was going to happen. The Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, of course. I also had the Philadelphia Eagles -5.5. They kicked a goddamn field goal from like the 10-yard line, and I just needed a touchdown instead. But our boy Matt Amendola came in. You see that, Owen?
Yeah, I saw it.
Fucking blew that kick. God damn it, dude. Don't ever talk to me. On the bright side, you can feel better that whatever that was. Oh, the Chiefs didn't cost him his shot in the NFL. His kicking did, especially on the Cardinals also. So
You went
there
one
you
for
go.
two. What do you mean?
Yeah, again. Yeah, great. Great, awesome. Ask them which one they remember.
True.
So the Steam vs Machine, I went 2-3. The Machine overall went 5-6. I was -49 or -0.49 units, minus about half a unit, which I bet like $10 units, so I was minus like $5. My big one I was in on was the Dallas money line. I had Dallas money line over the Rams, and that was plus 198. So that was a good cash right there.
Yeah.
And
I
man,
should have been
it was
fucking.
never close. 22-10. It was.
I should have been
handled it.
balling on my Giants over Packers pick. I'm such a genius. But of course,
I bet that
I did
live. I got the
not.
Giants plus 14, 15.5 while we were sitting at breakfast on Sunday.
Nice. But that felt good.
Yeah, because they were down, and I was like, I bet the Giants kind of rally this close. And I checked the line; it was fucking 15.5, and I was like, yoink! And of course, they ended up winning on the money line. I wish I would have fucking bet the money line. Could have made 5 times my money right there.
Yeah, well, you can't. Yeah. So just check in. My parlay went 4 for 5 last week.
Oh,
Fucking Lions.
oh,
Lions blew it for me. But
oh,
yeah,
damn!
I had Colts, Giants, Chiefs, Jags, and the Lions blew it for me. I can't believe it.
Wow, that's
Admittedly, their star, wide receiver being down, wasn't expecting that. But that turned out to be the factor. They didn't score any points.
that's fair. All right.
But speaking of my parlay, I got another genius one for you. And once again, I am riding with
Seen
Danny Dimes. I'm once again riding with Danny Dimes. We're going Jags, Niners, Packers, Pats, Giants. Yeah, it's a good one. I'm assuming you're typing that in to figure out what
Hold on.
the spreads.
Sorry,
All money line, of
I'm
course.
bringing it up. I'm bringing it up right now. Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Aaron was telling me there was. I opened my phone to do that, and then Aaron was sending me messages about there being a truck in a giant hole on my street. So I don't know what's going on there, but okay. So you've got the Giants again, plus 190 over the Ravens.
Yep.
Okay, keep going.
The Ravens are chokers, bro. The Ravens are chokers, and Danny Dimes is clutch this year. He's my monster. He's clutch.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we got Giants, and then we got Patriots.
Patriots taking on the Cleveland Browns. The Patriots plus 126. Oh, and your parlay is already at plus 550 odds through two teams. Keep going.
Take this one to the bank. Packers, bounce back game.
Packers over the Jets minus 355. Doesn't add that much juice to it. Adds about $20 on a $10 parlay.
Yep, makes sense. Niners
minus 240 against the Falcons.
Probably makes the odds worse, actually.
Nope, it doesn't. Again, you're still adding the leg to your parlay. You're at plus 1090 odds.
Then the Jags.
That one could be a money grabber there. Jags over the Colts plus 120. Owen, your parlay plus 2518. A $10 bet would win you $250.
Damn, I might bet this one. I'm feeling good. Admittedly, all of these parlays, I think, besides one of them, has gone 3 out of 5 or better. So I'm dialing it. I'm getting close.
Yeah.
But haven't quite found the ultimate juice yet. But I like this one. This is a good one.
Nice. I do like that. Oh, and I was just roasting Matt Amendola, and King Swampert in chat wants to know. He wanted to know our thoughts on kickers taking lots of blame as time expires versus team blame. I think. Listen,
everyone always knows. It has known to the end of time. The kicker is to blame when he misses a kick, but there's also the rest of the team to blame that the kicker is even in the situation to get blamed. Like, with the Chiefs' loss against the famous Chiefs' loss against the Patriots in 2018 with the terrible roughing the passer call. That wouldn't have happened if the Chiefs hadn't scored 3 points in the first half.
Right.
Everyone likes to point out to what if you just would have made that kick? We would have won or gone to overtime, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, also if your wide receiver doesn't drop that easy pass, you wouldn't have had to be in the situation. And teams know that. And that's why you never see players being like, yeah, bro, our kicker lost us the game. He sucked. I mean, I'll give you the Lynn Elliott. I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. But other than that, I don't think, because you never see NFL players coming out talking about shit on kickers. So, that's how I feel too.
Listen, of course the NFL is a team game. Everybody knows that. But even when we know that, it all still comes down to it is a team game, but it is not all evenly distributed, right? Of course, sometimes, when we lost to the Colts, there's a lot of talk about Chris Jones talking shit. There's a lot of talk about how bad Mahomes played. There was a lot of talk about how bad the defense was. There's a lot of talk about play calling in general. There was a lot of talk about a lot of things there. But whose fault? But also, who did we blame? The kicker. Because the kicker also missed 2 of 3 and was getting yippy on the extra points. I'm I'm
Yeah, he
ready.
was poor
I'm
for sure.
certainly ready for Harrison Butker to be back. We're all realizing how much we've taken Harrison Butker for granted.
I mean,
But
Matt Wright's done fine, but I mean,
he's
Harrison Butker's automatic.
he's done fine. Yeah, came close to missing some extra points. Missed a field goal. Missed 2 field goals last night. Oh no, would have
Only
missed
one
2 field goals,
technically.
but but they called that one back on a holding call. Um,
Yeah,
but
not a great call.
listen, it gets amplified because especially when they're young, and Matt Amendola is young. He had a veteran defensive lineman step in and say, "Fucking stop yelling at the kid. You will blame us. We lost this game." But it's it's also his fault, and it's hard not to say that, but it's his fault too. And
Right.
it's not all of his fault, but it is.
It
He
is
did
some
have a
his
kick
fault.
to he did have a 40-yard kick to tie it at the end of the game. If Mahomes missed a pretty wide open Juju Smith-Schuster to win the game with as time expired, we'd be talking about Mahomes, we'd be talking about Juju, we'd be talking about a lot of stuff.
And we did. And to be fair, we did. In the Colts game, there were a couple times when uh when McCole had toasted his guy and Mahomes just never looked right.
Right, and if you remember, the number one thing that we blamed in the Chiefs game was Owen being downtown with guys who don't know ball. I mean, it's simple, but there's a lot of things to blame. But maybe Owen was the most to blame. Maybe it wasn't Matt Amendola. But all that be said, I don't think it's unproportional. Or I think it's totally fine. I think we're just
It's just yeah, and also, kickers have the unfortunate situation from a fan perspective that everyone knows when a kicker is doing bad. It's
right.
very obvious because the ball, nothing else is happening except for the ball flying through the air and the ball doesn't go through the goal.
Right. Well, and it's also a pass fail grade, right? If
Right.
Mahomes throws one incomplete pass, for a game, he's at a 95% completion percentage, maybe at the lowest.
Right.
If the kicker misses one, he could be 0%, or he's probably at least 50%.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, King Swampert kickers get one chance, QB and everybody else gets multiple chances. Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah,
this is also
kicker
all
misses a
things
kick.
that the kickers also know and have also signed on for.
Yep.
They've signed on to do all this stuff. They've signed on to make it their life's work and craft to go over on the sideline and kick kick field goals. I don't. It's just
I don't
this
feel
is,
I mean, I don't feel too terrible for kickers. They're making millions of dollars. It's fine.
yeah, no, I don't feel bad for any pro NFL player. No, absolutely. I feel maybe a little sad for them when they're getting asked a lot of questions by the media, but I certainly don't.
Yeah, sports media is always stupid anyway, asking dumbass questions.
I
Oh,
kind of
what
feel
went through
bad.
your head? What went through your head when you missed that kick?
Exactly.
Oh shit, I missed it. I
Yeah.
mean, what the fuck you? Yeah,
Maybe I kind of feel bad for the referee who sounded like he was about to cry last night in the Chiefs game, but
bro, he made
I
a
don't feel
terrible.
that. But he made a terrible call. I don't feel that bad for him. Oh, you know what? Come yell at me when I make a mess up in my job. I get yelled at.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. But
listen, There's a difference between being booed to a terrible point
right.
for nothing and being booed because of a bad call.
Yeah. Owen Picaro is very excited you made it. Which, a reminder to shout out
Wonderful. I
all the
appreciate that.
patrons over on the Patreon, patreon.com/open-disaster. Big shout out to Skylar Park. A big shout out to Picaro. Big shout out Joe Booty, I guess. Also Meltbox Kansas City and Dylan. A big shout out to all those guys.
Ooh, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. We're up to 5 patrons. Again, $5 gets you the hurricane tier, which was maybe a bad week for it. $1 for the tornado tier. Again, both of those tiers will get you a special role in the Discord. Definitely we'll get you a little separate chat. We'll talk it up a little bit more in that. We need to kind of get that stuff figured out a bit more. But you will certainly get an extra episode of Grub Buds. You get bonus buds. You get a bonus episode of Steen vs. Machine, which is bonus content for Dahm That's True, where you get sporting advice from me and my professional handicapper father. So a lot of good stuff.
As close to insider trading as you can get, folks.
All right,
Legally,
it's the cheapest. You're gonna get 40 picks a month for $5. There's
True.
no other deal like that, especially for my father's picks. So, I'll give you my picks for, if you text me. But, you don't have my number, so join the Patreon. Patreon.com/open disaster. Which I believe that also wraps us up for most of our sports content, which then brings us to our top 5 of the week, Owen. October
what do we got?
is upon us. We've had a lot of discussion, especially
No.
last night. We were discussing a lot about our Halloween costumes. Owen, I want to do top 5 Halloween costumes.
That I've ever done, or just in general?
Maybe that you've seen or done personally.
Oh, well, I mean, my number 1 is.
Oh yeah. It's either me or you. Is Truman slowly taking off his shirt? No, I mean, if you subscribe, I gotta find more room for you to go on there. Yeah, thank you. But,
Okay, I think you should do ones that we've personally worn.
well, I don't know if I've worn 5 good costumes.
Sure, yeah. I mean, then put a bad one in your top 5
Is it between the both of us or 5 that we've personally done?
that we've personally done.
Can we count?
I can name 5.
Can
I
we
can
count
name 5 for you?
Can we count this year's that we're gonna do? Because
Yeah,
I think
that's
I've got
fine.
an opportunity to up my best.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Oh
that's a
man,
good
I
one.
have done some good ones. All right.
Yeah, I know you have. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was confused.
I forgot about my junior year one. You gave me a lot of praise for my sophomore year one. You forgot about my junior year one.
I've had some
also
pretty good ones.
incredible.
I'm trying to remember about mine. What was I junior year? You remember? Oh, I do. Oh, dude, wait. Oh, yeah, I remembered it.
One time you stole my sophomore year costume that we've talked so much about.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I had to. I had nothing else going for me. I couldn't. I just was fucking blanking. I'm like, I can just do this. So I did. And everyone was like, "Oh, it's so great! Haha, very funny." I'm like, it was way funnier when Truman did it the first time.
That's right.
Because if you remember correctly, that was one where it was 20 minutes till the party, and you didn't have a costume.
Yeah, right. No, it was incredible. It was an incredible rally.
I'm sure that one makes this list though, so I won't bring it up anymore.
Yeah. All right. I can go first if you want me to.
No, I got this.
You got it. All right.
Yeah. All right. So, in my number 5 spot, one time Truman, I was an iPod 3.
Like the.
Remember the iPod 3 looked like kind of like a little rectangle, like this big.
Yeah.
You know.
Damn, that is a good
So,
costume.
my dad made, and this was in 5th grade, right? So my dad made me an iPod 3, and it had the button and everything, and it had a picture of the album, now playing, blah blah blah.
But it was you.
And yeah, and no, my head was over the top of it, right? So my arms stuck out the sides of it, my head was over the top, and so yeah, I was just basically wearing an iPod, walking around, and then I had a backpack. And when I went trick-or-treating in it, because I was in 5th grade, still trick-or-treating, I would just turn around and people would put the candy in my backpack.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
No, yeah, it was solid. It was a really solid.
Man,
costume.
it sucks that that's before the time of Bluetooth speakers. You could have thrown a little Bluetooth speaker back there and been playing.
Exactly. I could have actually played music if I would have done this nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're talking 5th grade. Speakers weren't quite as advanced then. But yeah, that's my number 5. Number 4, I think kind of a sleeper for me, Truman. I've had some better ones to be sure. But I'm going with Julius Caesar.
Oh my god, I forgot about Julius Caesar.
Yeah, so basically,
Was
wore
that senior
toga.
year? That was senior year of college?
Yeah, senior year. So got a jewel, obviously. Yeah. And just smoked my friend's jewel. I don't condone vaping, by the way, anymore. I think vaping's really fucking awful for you. I condone it for costume situations like this only. But, wore a toga, had a little wreath in my hair.
I condone
had
it
a
for
jewel.
being a silly little fellow.
Yes. So, Julius Caesar's in my number 4 spot. Number 3, Truman, also senior year, the Bush Knight.
That's a classic good one.
Yeah, I think the Bush Knight is deserving of the 3 spot. Made a sword, made a helmet. Could have been better, but didn't have enough cans. So number 3, the Bush Knight. Number 2, Truman, Lieutenant Dangle from last year. New boot goofing. That was one of my most solid costumes.
Good one.
I was very proud of my Dangle. Had my boots, cut up a pair of crappy khakis into super tiny shorts. very fun. So Lieutenant Dangle at number 2, and number 1. I know you know this one, Truman, is the
Freshman
my
year,
ex
right?
costume. Yep, freshman year. So my freshman year, guys, I was in the volleyball band, and it was costume night. And so I'm like, oh, to be genius, we're playing TCU. I'll wear a trash can, and on the front of it, I'll put a sign that says TCU. And this was back when K-State had a local snap, when you could add to the local snap story. And that got on there because it was a very popular Snapchat story. And so, it was a great costume. Everyone was taking pictures of me. Great. But the real kickers comes when it came to the party after the volleyball game. I swapped out the sticker of the sign with a sign that said "My ex." My ex is trash. And it was incredible. It was a very funny costume, very popular. Admittedly, when I did it, I honestly wasn't really thinking about my actual ex. Because, it's just kind of a funny thing to say, your ex is garbage, ha ha ha. But my ex ended up Snapchatting me, calling me an asshole, and texting me, and she got really mad. But admittedly, it wasn't even about her. But it was just it was amazing, wearing a trash can, very funny.
Fair enough. All right, give me 5 through 1 again.
Yep, number 5, the iPod 3. Number 4, Julius Caesar. Number 3, the Bush Knight. Number 2, Lieutenant Dangle, New Boot Goofin. And number 1, the trash can.
Fair enough. All right, which brings me to my list. All right, I've got a couple honorable mentions. One I'm going to mention later on in the list. But real quick, I had the Yodeler my first year. I was a Yodeler. I had
that was good. That was good. I think that was another one of your underrated ones. You had the lederhosen and everything, right?
Yeah, but I went to Walmart and bought a Yodeler costume. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't a homemade one, so it wasn't as cool. But it was kind of fun. It was a cool outfit.
I have to say, homemade costumes are the ones that do it for me.
Yep.
The clever ones, those are my favorites.
Last year, brings me to number 5. My costume last year, I was a big sausage pizza delivery driver. Your classic.
That was a good one.
Your classic kind of.
Oh, here, yeah. quick, before you finish your list, shout out to Joe, who was Farmer D last year.
Farmer D, and he had his nuts with him. Yeah, Farmer D's nuts. But yeah, I got like a Pizza Hut pizza on our way to the party, and then I just cut a hole in the bottom of the box, and I was like, oh, and then like if I opened it, I was like, oh, I don't know why that hole's there. That's weird.
If I remember correctly, we all just ate the pizza.
Yeah, it was also a big hit. Yeah, because I could just give pizza to people. Number 4, I actually also have Lieutenant Dangle. When I was in Albuquerque, the 1 year before COVID hit, I was Lieutenant Dangle there, which I
didn't realize that.
I did that for one of them, and then I actually parlayed that into the party. So I did that for like bowling night. I wore the Lieutenant Dangle costume, and then I was the following night the following like weekend at a Halloween party, I was a sexy crossing guard. Which is very funny. I wore my like construction
I didn't know you
vest.
did Lieutenant Dangle. I didn't know. I honestly did not know you were Lieutenant Dangle. I did not mean to jack 2 of your costumes.
No. I mean, yeah, nobody knew. Like I just wore it in Albuquerque, but I was also a sexy crossing guard. I wore the same short shorts and the boots, and then I wore the cop hat, but then I had like a whistle, and then I wore like a construction vest.
Truman, speaking of cop hat, I have to add one to my list real quick.
Okay.
Sophomore year, I'll replace the Bush Knight with this one. Sophomore year, me and do you remember this, Truman? Me and Steve were party security.
Oh, that's
you remember that?
That was that was a good one.
We got security hats, the security vest, the black sunglasses, and we got walkie-talkies that worked. And we, pretended that we were party security.
I still think your buddies was a little bit funnier, where he was the guy in a shower. He was just get out of my shower.
We came up with that one last second too. We're just like, okay, Dan, because we were joking around, and we were just like, just tell people that they're in your shower and just have a bathing cap on. And he was like, because we were like, oh, that's so funny and stupid. He was like, I'll do it. And we were like, what?
Yeah. Very funny.
Oh, that was a good one.
All right, number 4, Lieutenant Dangle. Number 3, we're gonna see how this goes this year, but I'm preemptively putting in the number 3 slot just because we haven't seen how it. I know. I think it's gonna be incredible, but I think just where we're at right now, I think we have to put I'm going to be the legendary racer Chick Hicks this year in my number 3 slot. Me and Tina talked about her costume last night. I think it might be able to be a part of it. Would be very funny, I think, also.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll see.
I'm interested.
So number 3.
It all depends on your execution, because you've got to build it yourself.
Yep. That's fair.
You got to get a cardboard box, get some maybe some printouts, some decals.
Yep.
But it all depends on your construction. I believe in your abilities, but it's gonna ride heavily on the execution.
That's fair. Number 3, Chick Hicks. Number 2, my junior year, I had this costume, and I totally forgot about this. It was very funny. I was white trash. I wore just like basketball shorts, and then I wore a white kitchen trash bag over as my top. And it was kind of hot, but not too hot. I had enough. I was skinny enough to fit into a white trash bag. If I tried to do that nowadays, I don't think it would go as well. And I would think I'd probably overheat. But I did okay during that. I did okay on that Halloween too, I will say. But so yeah, white trash was the good costume. And my number 1, we talked about it. It was an all-time improv moment. I looked around. We were 20 minutes from leaving a party. I didn't have a costume, but we walk in the room, and I see my boxing gloves sitting there because I was doing boxing as a workout at college, and I had 2 boxing gloves, and I was like, I can do something with this. And then I found a Hawaiian shirt in my closet. So I put that on. I tied the boxing gloves around my neck. I think I even threw on some sunglasses, maybe some shorts, maybe some flops. And I was
Hawaiian. Took out a shoelace to tie the sunglasses together, yeah.
Yep. And I was Hawaiian Punch.
Legendary.
An all-time last minute improv. Oh, so yeah, so
it really was all time. That was by far your best one. Because I remember that your sister and her friend were up, and they were itching to go because they had driven up, and we were like, dang, dude, like Truman, you have to have a costume for this freaking party, man.
Yep,
that was so good. That was a good one.
Worked out. So yeah, honorable mention: Yodeler. Number 5, pizza delivery driver. Number 4. Lieutenant Dangle / Sexy Crossing Guard. Number 3, Chick Hicks for now. Number 2, White Trash. And number 1, Hawaiian Punch.
Yeah, dude, I really think Chick Hicks has a great opportunity to move up to the number 1 spot.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah. So,
very interested in what Tina parlays hers into, but don't spoil it now.
I
don't want our listeners to.
All right. I appreciate everybody for tuning in this week. I appreciate being back semi-regular to our normal kind of layout here. I think hopefully we'll all be back in the same place with all 4.
Yeah, I don't think anything weird's going to happen next week.
So hopefully nothing going on there. We got a surprise for Grub Buds next week. It'll be really fun.
What item did you guys end up doing today?
We did the Detroit Pizza Cook-Off.
Oh, nice.
Did the one that none of you wanted to do. So got that one.
I want to do that one. I'm kind of bummed about not being able to do it. Who won?
Pizza Hut by like half a point.
Interesting. That means a strong showing from Little Caesars then?
I like Little Caesars better than I like Pizza Huts, but I'm a little biased. I think it's a bit of a comfort food. So.
Okay.
But, of course, we do appreciate everybody for tuning in. We appreciate being here on Dahm, That's True, joining us on a Tuesday night, a little weird of a time. We'll be back to our normal Monday night time. Again, tuning in around 8:30 p.m. Central Time, live-ish. Call it 8:45 most nights. As you guys notice, Ian is not here. Ian is probably going to be out for a bit longer. He had some of his work stuff changed, so he just can't be in until maybe December. So we kind of add a host, and we lose him immediately. So... but big shout out to Ian for helping us out for as long as he did, and maybe you'll see him later. Maybe you'll see him later. Don't count him out yet. It's just it's a goodbye for now, not a goodbye forever. That being said, appreciate everybody for being here again. The best way to support us, patreon.com/open disaster, link tr.ee/open disaster to go find all of our links. !OD socials in chat. !disaster for the link tree, !Patreon. You guys can go check us out on everything. That really helps us the best. Growing on all platforms, growing everywhere. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you're listening. Rate it. Help us out, guys. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. We appreciate all of y'all. We appreciate you sticking through the weirdness that was the last couple weeks. And I appreciate being back and being in front of everybody. And of course, Owen, I appreciate you for still being able to
And I
make it
appreciate
today.
you, buddy.
Yes. And I'm excited to have us all back in the same place next week. Help it vibe just a little bit better. And I'm excited to be celebrating that Chiefs dub over the Buffalo Bills next week.
Absolutely. Can't
All
wait.
right. Thank you again for everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week, of course, for another episode of Dahm. That's true. I've been Truman Stevenson. That's been Owen Domination 7 Dahm. We'll see y'all. Obese.